Good morning, everyone. It is 6:30 a.m. on Monday. This is my fourth week of medical school and my final week of my first block. This means I have my biochemistry and genetics final on Wednesday, and I didn't film over the weekend because I'm going to be completely honest, I had somewhat of a low point where I didn't want to do anything. I kind of crashed towards the end of last week. I couldn't focus in my classes. I couldn't focus when I was studying. So on Saturday, I tried to study and I just couldn't focus. It was a waste of my time. I sat down, I tried to watch some Boards and Beyond videos and go through what I needed to go through, and I just couldn't retain any of it. So I just said, you know what, like forget about it. So I spent my entire Saturday just relaxing. I watched Netflix, I hung out with my parents, and that's it. And then on Sunday, I actually, studied all day long. I was able to be a little bit more productive, but now I do feel a little bit more pressure because there's so much content for me to go through in terms of review. But that's where I'm at. I have all of today, all of Tuesday, and then some of Wednesday morning to prepare enough. And again, I guess it's a good thing that I'm trying to attain a pass and not, 100% on this exam. So we're about to start biochemistry and genetics class in about 30 minutes, and it's our review day, so I'm guessing the professors will just go over the content we need to absolutely know for our exam. And then I think we have a guest lecture. And all this time I've been studying, going through things like the TCA cycle and just a bunch of random well, they're not random, but you know what I mean. A bunch of cycles that you have to memorize, a bunch of diseases, and I still have quite a bit to get done before my exam. And the bad thing is that I'm seeing some of this content for the first time because we were introduced to it right around our midterm exams. So during that time I was focused on studying for my exam, so I wasn't able to keep up with the content. So of course now I'm backed up and it's going to be really hard for me to retain all of this new information when I'm seeing it for the first time. So it's a lot. It is definitely a lot, but I'm trying to, stay calm, not get overwhelmed, and just methodically try to get everything done in time as I have planned it out. I think I still have maybe around 4 or 5 days worth of lecture to catch up on and to create study guides for. And then after that, I hope to have some time to go over all of them once, and then maybe go over a pre-made study guide by some other students. And of course, I said I would give myself time to do more practice questions, but I have no time, even less than the first time around. And a lot of this content is stuff that I'm seeing for the first time. Like, I didn't learn it in undergrad. Oh my goodness, guys. I think I am, learning things for the first time, and my exam is in 2 days, right? Today's Monday. And I still have so many lectures to go through and write up study guides for, and I already have I would say 10 pages worth of this plus, more to go through and then review it and remember all of it. But I hopefully can get through all the content. Thankfully, we only have class on Monday and Tuesday this week from 10 to 1 p.m. So I have my morning and the rest of my evenings to just full on study and retain as much as I can. And yeah, targeted focused study on high yield info rather than trying to memorize absolutely everything that's in every single slide. So let's see how much progress I make for the rest of today. So you can see that I tried to make somewhat of a study schedule, but obviously I haven't followed any of it. I've decided to postpone my histology exam, so we had the option to take it on the 14th or the 21st, and I've decided to take it on the 21st so I can focus on biochemistry and not overstress for no reason. So I've gone through all of this content so far, and I have 2 days left before my exam, and I still need to go through this content review, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm hoping that family history genetics of cancer and population genetics and stuff like that is typically, not that hard content to get through. So I'm hoping that this second half will be faster than this first half, which is just super heavy I think we covered this in 1 day of lecture, and that's like an entire semester of undergrad biochemistry right there. So this is how I take notes. Normally when I look at the lecture the first time around, I don't really take notes, I just highlight, but then right before the exam comes around, that's when I sit down and I take notes on only high yield points that I know will be tested, because otherwise if you sit down the first time around and try to take notes on everything, I think that defeats the purpose. And I also have not started using Anki. I know a lot of my classmates are using it, but I just simply have not had the time to sit down and figure out how to use the program and start using flashcards. And I might try to use it soon once our curriculum lightens up and I have time to, figure it out. And we'll see if I like it. I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm not that into flashcards, but I'll give it a go. So I like to take little breaks in between. I've been studying. In a little bit we have a research presentation, I guess intro to research, and then after that I will start studying again for the rest of my day. But you know what? In my little break, I'm going to eat some pizza, have a little flavored black raspberry water, and then I'm going to watch some Netflix because this is all I get, 15 minutes of my heavenly break. Good morning, people of the world. It is 6 a.m. It is the day before my biochem final exam, and I still have about 2 complete modules and maybe like a fourth of one module left. So I'm hoping I have about 4.5 hours until my histology class starts for today. And I haven't done the pre-work for that, but we're going to worry about histology later. Right now it's priorities, priorities, priorities. So I'm just going to try and get through as many biochem modules as I can this morning so that for the rest of the day it's kind of just review, because honestly I don't remember a lot of things. So I'm going to have to review everything that I've reviewed or just now learned, and I really hope moving forward I learn my lesson and actually, well, no, I'm not going to learn my lesson. Up until now I haven't had time to review or look at things because everything has been so fast paced, but moving forward we should, our schedule should ease up and things should be much better. We just finished histology class, okay, and I actually did pretty well on our in-class questions, which is surprising because I didn't do any of the pre-work because I've been studying for biochemistry. And so now it's about 2 p.m. That means I have the rest of today just clear to study for my biochem and genetics exam, and I have finished reviewing all of my biochem modules. Now what I'm going to do next is look at the exam review PowerPoints that our professors gave us. Basically this gives us the high yield content that we must know. Then I'm going to review my own notes, which is like 20 pages worth of notes of all of the modules, and then maybe look at a study guide that was created by some other students, because that always helps me fill in gaps of some content that I might have thought wasn't important but actually is important. And then if I do have some time, I really do want to get to practice problems. I'm still trying to figure out what book to use for practice problems, but I don't know if I'll have time because I'm still trying to memorize a lot of these things, like the TCA cycle. I still don't remember quite well, so I'm going to have to come up with some good mnemonics there or acronyms. And a bunch of the genetic stuff is also, there's some Hardy-Weinberg calculations and things like that I need to clarify in my mind. But let's do this. We have all of the rest of today. And then tomorrow I have my biochemistry exam, and then I'm free. I don't have anything else to do besides, start preparing for my histology final and some basic doctoring. We're going to have to take a patient interview on Thursday, which I'm super excited for. I'm probably going to get nervous. That's just natural human response to be nervous before something like this. But I'm excited, and I've heard that people get good feedback, and it's a great environment, and everybody's positive. And I want to meet patients, even if they are standardized or just actors. I have a hard time getting started studying, but then I think about the fact that once I sit down, and literally after an hour of just studying, I will know so much more information, and that means I can answer questions correctly, and I know more, diseases, and then that just gets me excited because, I don't know, it's exciting to be able to answer things correctly and know more about how to potentially treat people, and you're like one step closer, one very tiny step closer to, achieving your goal of becoming a physician someday. But now we're going to start with the good old glycolysis and Krebs cycle. I really struggle with genetics, especially right now. We've been learning about oncogenes and tumorigenesis and cancers, which, I've had family members that have been impacted by cancer, and of course it's something that I want to know about, but I have a really hard time wrapping my head around it because it's all of these, genes, and I feel like I can't visualize these things, I can't feel them, I can't really comprehend how they work, and to me they just seem like these intangible things. And I don't know, I have classmates that already know they're super interested in going into oncology, and I just know that right now that is not me, not interested in oncology, and who knows, that might change, but for right now it just doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't kind of connect in my brain like it does for other people. I wanted to show you how I plan on memorizing the TCA cycle. So we don't have to know all of the enzymes in between, but we do have to know like the main points. And so this is how I'm quickly going to memorize it. And just for a little bit of context, when I was working in Paris last year, I had a coworker named Pac. So his name was P-A-C. So look at what I came up with. All right, so we have Pac, right? That's my coworker's name, Pac. And then I say, Pac, I keep going straight south for more opportunities. And then what I do is, this is pyruvate, acetyl-CoA citrate, isocitrate, citrate, alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, succinate, fumarate, malate, oxaloacetate, right? So I already know them, but this helps me memorize the order. And then I have to know where they produce NADH, FADH2, and GTP. And I kind of visually just memorize this. I create a nice little clock. Okay, so these 3 points produce NADH, and then between the S and the S, I have a GTP coming out, and then between the F and the S, because F is close here, I have FADH2 coming out. And so this is kind of how I remember it, Pac. I keep going south, straight south for more opportunities, and that's it. I don't have to remember anything else. And I know this method doesn't work for everybody. Some people just like rewriting cycles over and over again, and that's how they remember it. I find that to be personally a waste of time for me, because I don't know, I can memorize it much quicker just by coming up with some random saying that I will, remember, because it's already primed in my brain. I know who my coworker was, and then I just come up with something. And yeah, there you go. I spent 1 minute trying to memorize it, and it's done. 7 p.m. I have finished review of my own study guide. I was counting it and it turned out to be 13 pages, and if you saw, my handwriting is like super tiny, so that's a lot of content. Now I'm debating if I should do some practice problems before I go over a study guide that my classmates made. The only thing is that I'm not quite sure what to use as a good practice problem like resource. Some people recommend Lippincott book or board review series. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna go and try and find them right now and see if either of them are a good source of questions, and if not, I'll just go and review another study guide. You can see that it turns into a mess when it's exam time, because I just study and throw things everywhere and it becomes super cluttered. Some of my classmates have been using a resource called Pixorize, which is, I guess, kind of like Sketchy, where they have some visuals and stuff like that to memorize some of the pathways. I haven't used them yet. I tried to a little bit, but for some reason, I'm not good with visuals as much as I thought I would be. Okay, so I'm a hot mess, but I just want to point out that I have like the most amazing classmates that make the most amazing study guides. Like, this is an entire review on biochemistry and genetics, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And I just love how everybody shares these resources and help each other out, So somebody made an entire study guide, somebody made a study guide just on all of the diseases that we need to know and all of their inheritance patterns. And yeah, these people are going to get me through. Thank goodness for amazing class. I'm sorry I missed a video last week. It was, again, a really tough week for me at the end of the week, and I got through it. Now I'm in a better place. I'm actually surprised that I'm not stressed out about this exam tomorrow. Again, it's going to be 2.5 hours, but I know that once I take it, I'm going to get my grade immediately, I believe, or maybe an hour later, and then I'm done. I'm done with biochemistry and genetics in terms of med school classes, but I must still know all of this for the USMLE Step 1 exam. But for now, I'm just going to get through tomorrow and then chill for a little bit. Chill for the rest of the day. Watch some Netflix, maybe go outside. I know, I'm sorry guys, I haven't been outside. This must be super boring for you to just sit here and listen to me talk and stay inside all day long. But I promise things are going to get a little bit more eventful coming up soon. Some of you out there might think I'm crazy because all I do is write a bunch of notes and it's just like so tiny and on a small piece of paper, but this is what I gotta tell you. Find out what works for you. If you learn best by coming up with mnemonics, then do that. If you learn best by rewriting something 5 million times, then do that. If you learn best by looking at sketchy medical videos and, being visual, then do that. Everything is going to be different for everybody. Just do what works for you. Good morning, 6:30 a.m. test day. I'm going to go through one last time and go through all of my study guide notes and then I'm going to go through a PDF of all of the diseases that a classmate made, then some practice calculations of Hardy-Weinberg, because I'm not good at those yet, but we still have time to get good at them. And then I think I might just chill. I have about 4 hours before the test, so I think I can get all of this done and then just chill until... And if you're with me for the first time, what the test looks like is we have, I think, 60 questions, MBME style. That will be 90 minutes. And then we have 30 questions. That is just Blackboard. And that'll be, I think, 60 minutes. So in total, we have 2.5 hours of testing. We just sit down in front of Zoom. We have somebody proctoring us through Zoom, and we get one piece of blank paper. But yeah, that's it. We are allowed to go pee. Okay, that's a necessity. I'm about 2 hours out from my exam, and at this point I think I've gone through at least 4 passes through, all of my study guide content and all of the diseases, but you can always go through more. I'm wrapping up a pass right now, and then I think I'm just going to rest for a little bit and chill until my exam, because I don't know, there's no point in continuing to pass through everything more and more. I think I've got a decent understanding of everything, but I'm excited for post-exam to finally go outside and enjoy the sun. I'm getting ready to take the exam in about 15 minutes. It starts in 15 minutes, and I'm going to spend these last 15 minutes just jamming out to literally like my favorite music. I love listening to Spanish music, so that's what I'm going to do to get myself hyped up. And I feel pretty chill. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I'll see you guys right afterwards, and I'll tell you how it went. And I just finished the MBME style part of the exam. It was kind of difficult, to be honest. It was a lot of diseases that you could mess up and a lot of clinical presentations that were similar. But we'll see. And now I'm going to take just a little 5-minute break, go to the bathroom, maybe take a sip of like Coke or something to rejuvenate myself, and then I'm going on to the Blackboard portion, which I think should be easier because the questions were written by the professor, so they catered them to what we specifically learned in class. And I only have, I think, 30 questions from that, so it shouldn't be too bad. When I take my exams, the approach that I take is first I do one pass, and I do all of the easy questions that I know I can immediately answer, and then I go back through and I review all of the ones that I haven't answered. And again, the second time around, things that might have seemed difficult actually start clearing up because my brain has been primed, it's warmed up, so I do better. And then I have a third last pass left for the hardest questions that maybe required me to think a lot more. I couldn't figure out the first or second time around, and the ones that I'm probably not likely to get even if I spend a lot of time on it just because I don't know that content. So I like to do 3 passes, and that's how I approach my exams. But today I definitely knew what my weaknesses were. For some reason, my mind cannot understand cholesterol and lipids very well. So that's a weakness of mine, as well as like glycogen synthesis and glycogen breakdown. Those are 2 things that I kind of, there were recurring questions, and I could feel myself just like, I don't like this question. And just like that, I am finished. I finished the Blackboard part with 17 minutes to spare, and the Blackboard part was more detailed and less cases. There weren't any like patients present with this. It was more, direct memory and not much, I guess, logical thinking or trying to figure out a clinical presentation and what disease it is. But I'm done. That's the great part. I'm done. So I have myself left to wonder what I will do with the rest of my day.